We can take a break while I figure myself out, she said. Then I saw her figuring it out on her ex's Instagram. Now she's begging me to come back, and I don't care. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. When people talk about relationships ending, they usually picture screaming matches or dramatic goodbyes. Mine didn't start that way. It started with small things you could almost talk yourself out of noticing. Lauren and I had been together for a little over 3 years. We met in college and moved in together right after graduation. Back then, everything felt effortless. She was social, funny, the kind of person who could walk into a room and make everyone like her. I was quieter, more routine-oriented. I handled the bills, cooked most nights, kept things steady. She used to call me her anchor. But anchors apparently get heavy after a while. It began with her phone. She used to toss it anywhere, kitchen counter, couch, bed. But lately, she kept it face down, screen locked and set to silent. When it buzzed, she'd glance at me before picking it up and then say, "It's just work." I believed her the first few times. Then came the networking events. Lauren worked in marketing for a lifestyle brand, so going out to events wasn't unusual. But when those events started happening on weeknights, sometimes twice a week, and always seemed to involve the same group of coworkers, it got harder to ignore. I remember one Friday when I got home from work around 7 o'clock. I had picked up Thai food, her favorite, and texted her to see when she'd be home. No reply. By 9 o'clock, the food was cold. By 11 o'clock, she finally texted, "Lauren, sorry, lost track of time, out with the team. Don't wait up, Red Heart. No, love you, no call, just that." She came in after midnight, laughing softly to herself as she took off her heels. When she saw me awake on the couch, her expression flickered. Guilt, maybe, but she masked it quickly. "Babe, you're still up. You didn't have to wait," she said, sounding more annoyed than apologetic. "I just wanted to make sure you got home safe," I said quietly. "I told you not to wait up, it's fine." She brushed past me and disappeared into the bathroom. I sat there staring at the takeout containers until the smell made me sick. Over the next few weeks, that became our rhythm. I'd ask how her day was. She'd answer with one word. I'd suggest dinner. She'd say she wasn't hungry. When she was home, she'd sit on the couch scrolling through her phone with a blank expression like I was a commercial break she couldn't wait to skip. One night I finally asked, "Are we okay?" She sighed. Not the sad kind, but the tired, impatient kind. "Ethan, not everything has to be a crisis. I'm just stressed. Can I have a bad week without it meaning something?" That was the thing about Lauren. She was always good at flipping the script. I'd walk away from arguments wondering if maybe I was too sensitive, too paranoid to something. Then came the tone shift. The way she said my name, it used to be soft, teasing. Lately, it sounded like a scolding. "Ethan, you're overthinking. Ethan, you're being dramatic. Ethan, can you not right now?" I kept trying to fix things in the only way I knew how: effort. I started leaving notes for her, small compliments, cooking her favorite dinners again, asking about her work projects. She thanked me once or twice distractedly, but mostly it felt like I was shouting into a void. Then one night, while I was cleaning up after dinner, she looked up from her phone and said something that stuck with me. "You're just really serious lately. It's kind of hard to be around." I turned off the faucet and faced her. "Serious how?" "I don't know," she said, shrugging. "You used to be more chill. Now it's like you're waiting for me to mess up or something." "I'm not," I said carefully. "I just feel like we've been off lately." She gave a small laugh that didn't reach her eyes. "You worry too much. Maybe you should learn to just let things be." And that was the moment I realized something had shifted permanently. The warmth between us, that easy connection we used to have, was gone, replaced by something cold and polite, like coworkers forced to make small talk. Still, I told myself it was a phase. Every couple has rough patches. I convinced myself she'd come around, that this distance was temporary, so I waited. I didn't know it then, but that silence, that uneasy, quiet waiting was the start of the end. It happened on a Saturday morning, the kind that should have been ordinary. Sunlight coming through the blinds, coffee brewing, the quiet hum of the city outside. Lauren came out of the bedroom wearing one of my sweatshirts, but her expression didn't match the comfort of it. Her eyes were distant, not angry, just rehearsed. like she'd practiced something in her head before walking out. "Can we talk?" she asked. Those 3 words, the most harmless, terrifying sentence in a relationship. "Sure," I said, setting my mug down. She sat across from me on the couch, legs crossed, hands clasped. For a long moment, she didn't say anything. "Then I think we should take a break." I blinked. "A break from what?" "From us," she said, her tone soft but deliberate. "I just need time to figure myself out. Lately, I feel like I don't even know who I am anymore." I stared at her. "You don't know who you are, so your solution is to take a break from the person who knows you best." Her jaw tightened. "See, that's exactly it. You make everything sound like I'm doing something wrong. I just need space, Ethan, space to breathe." "You already have space," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "You go out all the time. We barely spend 2 nights a week together. I don't check your phone. I don't stop you from doing anything. What kind of space are you missing?" She sighed like I was exhausting her. "You don't get it. It's not about you. I just need to focus on me for a while." "So this is a breakup?" I said flatly. "No," she snapped a little too quickly. "It's not a breakup. I'm not saying we're done. I'm saying I need a pause. Just no pressure for a bit so I can sort out my feelings." Her tone was calm, but her hands trembled slightly. I could see it. The guilt behind her practiced words. I asked the question anyway because it was the one clawing at my chest. "Are you seeing someone else?" She let out a sharp, humorless laugh. "God, Ethan, not everything's about cheating. You really need to work on your trust issues." There it was, the deflection, turning the accusation back on me. "I don't have trust issues," I said quietly. "I have instincts." Lauren stood up, crossing her arms. "This is exactly why I need a break. You twist everything into some kind of problem. I can't even talk to you without being interrogated." I asked one question, and it was the wrong one. The room went silent except for the faint ticking of the kitchen clock. I could feel the conversation closing, not resolving, just ending. She grabbed a duffel bag from beside the couch. It was already packed. "How long have you been planning this?" I asked. She paused, not meeting my eyes. "I told Lily I might crash at her place for a bit, just until I get my head straight." Lily, the same friend she always used as a shield. "Does Lily know about the break, or does she think you're single now?" Lauren rolled her eyes. "You're being dramatic." "No," I said, standing up slowly. "I just like clarity." "Well, clarity is what I need too," she said, slinging the bag over her shoulder. "I don't expect you to understand right now, but maybe after some time apart we'll be better for it." I wanted to argue, to tell her how absurd that sounded, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, I just nodded. "Okay," I said. "Take all the time you need." That surprised her. For a second, her expression flickered. Confusion, maybe even guilt, but she recovered quickly. "Thank you," she said softly. She walked toward the door. Before she left, she turned back. "Don't wait around for me, okay? Just do your thing for a while." I managed a small smile. I already was. She frowned but didn't respond. The door shut quietly behind her. I stood there in the stillness, surrounded by the echo of all the things she didn't say. For a long time, I just stared at the spot where she'd been standing, trying to make sense of it. Then, without really thinking, I went to the kitchen, poured out the coffee, and washed the mug. The apartment was silent except for the water running in the sink. And in that silence, for the first time, I realized something. Lauren didn't need space. She needed freedom from accountability. And she'd just given me something too. Freedom from pretending everything was fine. 3 days. That's how long it took for space to turn into betrayal. Lauren hadn't texted once since she walked out. Not a check-in, not even a "hope you're okay." I told myself it was fine. I wasn't going to chase her. If she needed space, I'd give her all of it. So I threw myself into distractions. Work, gym, cleaning the apartment, anything that kept my hands moving and my mind quiet. Then on Wednesday afternoon, I made the mistake of opening Instagram. I wasn't even looking for her. I was scrolling through my feed mindlessly when a familiar face stopped me. Ryan. Ryan was Lauren's ex. The one before me, the first love she said she'd outgrown, the one she swore she hadn't spoken to in years. I never hated the guy. He was just a ghost that lived in her stories. Until that moment. He'd posted a photo. The kind of photo you can't misinterpret, no matter how much you try to rationalize it. It was a cabin deck, all rustic wood and mountain light. In the corner, a familiar silhouette. Lauren wrapped in a blanket holding a mug of coffee, her head tilted slightly like she was mid-laugh. The caption under it read, "Some things just make sense again." My stomach dropped. I stared at it for a long time, telling myself there had to be some explanation. Maybe it was an old photo, maybe it wasn't her, maybe. Then I saw the comments. "Lauren, such a peaceful weekend. Thank you for reminding me what matters. Ryan, always. No tags, no shame, just open." I don't know how long I sat there staring at the screen. A part of me expected to feel rage, to start pacing, maybe even throw something. But I didn't. I just felt still, like everything had gone quiet inside me. I checked her page next. She posted a similar photo, different angle, same cabin. The caption read, "Healing, clarity, growth, healing, clarity, growth." Funny how those words always mean I did something unforgivable, but please applaud me for it. I set my phone down on the counter, walked over to the window, and just stood there for a while. The city outside moved on like nothing had happened. After a few minutes, I opened my phone again. Not to confront her, not to text. I went to my contacts and deleted her number. Then I went to social media, unfollowed her, removed her from everything. No drama, no statement, just gone. That evening, I started gathering her things. Not angrily, just methodically. Her hairbrush, the extra toothbrush, her favorite mug, the cardigan she always left on the chair. The framed photo of us from last Christmas. All of it went into a box. When I was done, I put the box in the spare room and closed the door. That night, I didn't sleep much. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept seeing that photo, the cabin, the coffee, the caption. But instead of imagining what they were doing, I thought about something else. I thought about how she'd looked me in the eye and said, "It's not about you." She was right, it wasn't. It was about her choosing the easy version of herself. The one who didn't have to answer hard questions, who could rewrite the story to make herself the victim and call it growth. By the next morning, the hurt had shifted. It wasn't disbelief anymore, it was clarity. Cold, heavy, but freeing in its own way. She'd made her choice, and I finally understood that my silence was the only answer she deserved. The first week without her felt strange. Not painful, just empty, like someone had muted a song halfway through. I'd come home from work, see the space where her shoes used to sit or the empty side of the bed and feel that flicker of loss. Then it would fade, replaced by something steadier. Relief, maybe. Silence became familiar, peaceful even. I started cooking again. Not takeout or frozen dinners, actual meals. I'd pour a glass of wine, put on a playlist, and cook like I used to before every conversation turned into therapy for her latest existential crisis. Work was the next thing that shifted. My focus came back. I'd forgotten what it felt like to give something my full attention without checking my phone every 5 minutes for some vague, emotional text from her. My boss even noticed. "You seem lighter," he said one afternoon. I just smiled. It wasn't until week 2 that she broke the silence. A text, short and hesitant. "Hey, I've been thinking about you. Can we talk?" I stared at it for a minute, then locked my phone. I didn't delete it. I just didn't respond. An hour later, another one came in. "Please, I just want to explain." "Explain what?" That healing somehow required sleeping with her ex in a cabin she once told me she hated. That clarity meant betraying me in the same breath she claimed to be finding herself. No explanation was going to change that. I muted her number. Over the next few days, the messages kept coming, each one a little more desperate. I made a mistake. It wasn't what it looked like. I just needed closure with him, that's all. "Can we at least talk in person?" Closure, that word again. I'd given her nothing but patience and understanding, and she went looking for closure in her ex's bed. By the 3rd week, the messages stopped. That's when I realized something. Peace isn't loud. It doesn't feel triumphant. It just feels quiet. I started sleeping better. I joined a morning boxing class near my office. I reconnected with a few old friends I drifted from while I was busy trying to support her through growth. It's strange. Once you stop trying to fix someone who doesn't want to be fixed, you suddenly have all this time and energy to rebuild yourself. Then one Friday, I got a call from a mutual friend. He sounded hesitant. "Hey, just so you know, Lauren's not doing great. She and Ryan didn't last long. She's back in town staying with her sister. She's been asking about you." I just said, "Thanks for letting me know," and hung up. That night, I walked to the same park Lauren and I used to visit. The one where we talk about our future, the house, the trips, the kids, the life we thought we were building. I sat on the same bench for a while, watching the lights ripple across the lake. And I realized something simple but freeing. She wasn't my future anymore. She was just a story I'd already finished reading. And I didn't hate her. Not really. I just didn't care anymore. It was about a month after I found that cabin photo when she showed up. I had just come back from the gym, earbuds in, still a little sweaty, and there she was, sitting on the steps outside my building. Lauren, same soft features, but something had changed. The confidence she wore like armor was gone. Her hair was pulled into a messy bun, eyes swollen, expression somewhere between guilt and exhaustion. "Hey," she said softly, standing as I approached. I stopped a few feet away. "What are you doing here?" I didn't know how else to reach you. You blocked me everywhere." "That should have told you everything you needed to know." She flinched at that. "Please, just give me 5 minutes." I sighed, leaning against the railing. 5 minutes. She took a breath, voice trembling just enough to sound sincere. "I messed up, okay? I thought I needed space to figure things out, and I made a huge mistake going to Ryan's." "It wasn't supposed to happen like that." I stayed silent. "He reached out after I posted about us," she continued. "Said he just wanted to talk to make sure I was okay. I thought it would help me close that chapter, but seeing him..." Her voice cracked. "I don't know. It just brought everything back, and I wasn't thinking clearly. It was a mistake, a stupid, impulsive mistake." She waited for me to say something. I didn't. "I missed you the second I left," she said, stepping closer. "You were always the one who grounded me, the one who actually cared. Ryan doesn't even know who I am anymore, but you..." She swallowed. "You always saw me." I met her eyes. "Yeah, I did, and that's exactly why I can't do this again." Tears welled instantly. "You don't mean that. We can fix this. We've been through so much together. We've been through me carrying you while you kept convincing yourself you were growing," I said quietly. "You wanted space, and then you filled it with him. That's not growth, Lauren. That's selfishness dressed up as self-discovery." She shook her head, stepping even closer. "I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted, but I do now. I want you. I want us." I let out a small, humorless laugh. "No, you want what you lost. There's a difference." She froze at that, eyes flicking over my face like she was looking for some crack, some trace of softness she could still manipulate. But there wasn't any left. After a long silence, she whispered, "You don't even want to try." "I already did," I said, "for years. You just didn't notice until it was too late." She started crying then. Real tears this time, quiet and broken. "I can't believe you're just giving up on us." "I didn't give up," I said, opening the building door. "You ended it the moment you chose someone else and called it healing." She reached for my arm, desperate now. "Please, can we just talk? I'll do anything, I swear." I gently pulled my arm free. "You already did everything, Lauren. That's the problem." I walked inside and didn't look back. Through the glass, I saw her sit back down on the steps, burying her face in her hands. For a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But then I remembered that morning in the cabin photo, her smiling, content, wrapped in a blanket someone else brought her, and I realized the truth. I wasn't walking away from love. I was walking away from a version of her that never existed in the first place. That night, I slept better than I had in months. After that day on the steps, I didn't hear from Lauren for a while. 2 weeks of silence. Then the ripple effect started. First came the texts from mutual friends. "Hey man, Lauren's not doing so great. Maybe you could talk to her. She's been really down lately. I think she regrets what happened." I didn't answer any of them. They weren't neutral, they were messengers. Then came the social media phase, vague captions and moody selfies. Sometimes you don't realize how good you had it until it's gone. The hardest part is forgiving yourself. And my personal favorite, people change. Love shouldn't be conditional. I scrolled past every one of them without reacting because for the first time in a long time I didn't feel angry or bitter. I just felt done. I'd started running again. I'd stopped checking my phone every few minutes. I was eating better, sleeping better. I even signed up for a leadership course at work that my boss had been pushing for months. It was like someone had quietly lifted 50 pounds off my chest. But of course, peace doesn't go unchallenged for long. About a month later, she called from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Her voice trembled, but there was still that old undertone of control. "Hey, it's me." Look, I know you don't want to hear from me, but I need you to know I'm not doing this to get you back. I just want to apologize properly. Maybe we could grab a coffee and talk like adults, please. I deleted the voicemail. 2 days later, she tried again, this time through my sister. Apparently, Lauren had run into her at a cafe, told her she was worried about me. My sister said, "Funny, you didn't look too worried when you were at that cabin." That shut it down quick. Then came the anger phase. I was walking out of work one evening when she was waiting by my car. I hadn't seen her in over 2 months by then. "You've made your point," she said the moment I noticed her. "My point?" I asked. "That you're done, that you're too good to even talk to me." Her voice had that brittle sharpness again, the one she used to cut people down when she didn't get her way. "But you're not some saint, Ethan. You're acting like I'm a monster when you're the one pretending you're perfect." I kept my tone even. "I never said I was perfect, Lauren. I just stopped letting you make me feel like I wasn't enough." Her eyes narrowed. "You think you're better than me now?" "I don't think about you enough to compare," I said simply. That hit her like a slap. "You can't just erase me," she snapped. "We had a life together." "No, we had a version of one that you edited whenever it suited you." I unlocked the car, and I'm done playing a role in it. She stepped forward, voice trembling between rage and panic. "You'll regret this one day. You'll see who really cared." I met her gaze for the last time that night. I already saw, that's why I left. I got in the car and drove off. That was the moment it finally clicked for me. The point of no return wasn't her cheating. It wasn't even the cabin. It was the realization that nothing I could ever say or do would make her see me as real. Because people like Lauren don't fall in love, they assign roles. And once you stop performing, you're disposable. After that, her presence faded. The friends who used to defend her stopped bringing her up. Someone told me she quit her job. Something about HR getting involved after she showed up drunk one day and caused a scene. Apparently Ryan wasn't in the picture anymore either. Rumor was he dumped her for someone else. Karma didn't need my help. It handled itself. I, on the other hand, was doing better than I'd imagined. Work was good. I'd moved into a new place, bigger, quieter, mine. And there was a peace to my days that felt unfamiliar but honest. Sometimes I'd think about how all it took to get here was walking away once and meaning it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.